Anders, thanks for joining me, man. Good to have you on.
Thank you. It's been a while since I've been to Australia, so it's good to talk to someone from there.
Yeah, when was the last time you were here?
Um, that must have been 18, I think, with Satyricon.
Right. Did you have a good time?
Yes, we had a good run. It was or maybe it was even 19. No, it was 18. Sorry, the fall of 18. I think we did 5 shows or something. So we went to Perth and Sydney, Melbourne, and Cambria. No,
Canberra.
Canberra.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Canberra. Yep.
Canberra. That's how you spell. Yeah, it's
Canberra.
very Canberra. There you go.
Canberra.
Yeah, we had kangaroos sitting outside the hotel. The,
Excellent.
and Brisbane. Yeah,
Excellent. Well done saying Brisbane and not Brisbane. Well done.
yeah. There you go.
Let's talk about you had a bit of if you like, time off, and then things got reactivated with Dirk. Tell us how that came about.
Well, it started with him being the session drummer for Satyricon, actually on a boat cruise festival, 70,000 tons of metal. This is way back in 14, and reason he was doing that was that at the time we didn't have permits to go to the US with Frost, the main drummer in Satyricon. So being on the cruise ship with 40 extreme bands, we thought, well, we have to find someone on that ship that can do this, and somebody gave us a tip about him, and that's how we started to work together. And then during that week, he talked to me a lot about how Cadaver was one of his most important influences when he started off. So one thing led to another, and I started to send him demos for him to do drums on, and we discovered that we had a common no common way of thinking about music, so it was very easy to write with him. So we just started writing, and on that trip to where we are now, he joined Megadeth. So I'm happy that we started to work seriously before that, because I don't know how that would have turned out otherwise. But anyway, long story short, we started to work on this first album we did together, Edinburgh, in 16-ish, 15, 16, and took a while until we recorded it. And then the whole turmoil of me first getting cancer, then getting through cancer, and then the pandemic and everything just made the world a different place. So we
Mm.
just continued making music together, and now we are here with yet another album, which I'm very proud of, and we'll just continue making music basically, which is a good thing.
New album, The Age of the Offended, which it certainly is the age of the offended. Everybody seems to be offended about something. Um,
Mhm.
Tell us about the title, what you're saying with that.
Well, I'm very old school and very into black humor and sarcasm, like Monty Python and stuff like that. So when I grew up, we had this great sense of humor that we could, as long as you're kicking upwards or, making points about strange things in society that we take for granted, all the Monty Python humor towards authorities, whether it be judges or politicians or religion or whatever. That was a huge, and it's a huge part of my understanding of the world. And now, when everything has to be so concerned about other people's feelings that you can't even do humor anymore
Yeah.
without being that, it feels like we're in this bubble where the world just goes into a more and more boring state, I would say, where people are not even able to think for themselves anymore and make up their mind without bursting into all kinds of fights on behalf of people they in the past never thought about a millisecond. And I think that has to do with the fact that a lot of people have more pleasure of sitting judging others than looking at themselves and figuring out what themselves can do better in this world. And I think that's a huge, it's a kind of a sickness in the society that everybody is so afraid of just silliest, stupidest thing, and the most serious things and really, really important things becomes like a background noise to all this petty, silly, constructed polarization of whatever, whether it be religion, politics, or even normal life. Nothing can hide from this stupid notion that everything has to be super uh, cautious all the time. And
Mm.
coming from a music genre where giving the finger to the man and turning crosses upside down and putting on makeup or doing anything but traditional values, it feels like uh, people totally get everything backwards now, which is kind of weird.
Mm. Well said. You won't get any argument from me on that.
No, exactly. I think
Right.
I
Go
think
on.
young people, yeah, but I think young people are living in a world which is so different than what we grew up with. We have to sort of teach them how to uh, be able to not agree with everybody they talk to, or to even
Mm.
hear other
Mm.
people's perspective and other disagreements
Mm.
is a very important part of being a human being and educate yourself. And now it seems like the notion that other people can think something else and behave totally different than you is unacceptable, and that's so
Mm.
weird to me, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Don't get me started on that. Um, my apologies. I got you started on that. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's a but I mean, it's a huge, very important thing to deal with now, because I think it's the biggest I don't say threat, but it's one of the biggest concerns I have with where the world is moving
mm,
right
mm,
now.
mm. How long did this album take to record? Did you have to do it? How remotely did you do it? And tell us about Ronnie coming in. Tell us about that. That sort of blew my mind when I read that. Fill us in on that.
Yeah, that's a two-parted story. I mean, the part with me and Dirk is pretty much writing all the time. I'm sending him riffs, and he comes back with drum ideas for maybe I have a full song idea, then he comes back with drum ideas. And what we did on the previous album was to get together in the same room and consolidate all the songs. This time we had to record it during the pandemic, so we had a way of working. We already had 13, 14 songs done in the past, so we knew how to work things together. And being such a clever drummer that is, he is also able to many people, this is a long answer, I can tell that, but many
That's all right.
many bands just even if they record remote, uh we didn't necessarily use the same click all the way through songs. We're shifting tempos, we're jamming, we're doing all kinds of things which make it sound more real and vibrant, and like we're in the same room. I think it's very important to keep the human factor in music. If it's all
Mm.
constructed, you can might as well get AI to do your music. So I want
Yeah.
to be a very personal thing and a very human thing. So
Mm.
uh, we basically recorded remotely, but very much song by song, thinking how to do them as live as possible. But the Ronnie thing was kind of a part of my plan for this album, was to go kind of back to my roots where it all started, how things were like in '88 when we started out. And back then, bands didn't have the kind of genre tags that do have now. You know, you had
Hmm.
um, for us, it was super inspiring to hear very different bands. We were listening to Voivod, we would listen to Bathory, we would listen to Celtic Frost, Slayer, Possessed, Creator, Sodom, you know, all these different bands that came out, Carcass, Napalm Death, um, Morbid Angel. I mean, whatever we checked out and listened to became a part of our DNA. But the most important thing back then was to make things authentic and different from everybody else. So whatever your band would sound like, it shouldn't sound like any of the bands you liked. It should sound like yourself. And that's where we come from, you know. So on my path of going to that place, I was thinking about paying not paying dues, but tribute to one of my earliest times, starting my very first band, and that band was called Deadly Metal in '84, '85. That was inspired by this song Deadly Metal by TNT. And this is where Ronnie comes in, because I wanted to do a cover of that song, but I wanted to destroy the song and make it my own. So I I initially uh, made like a quick demo and sent it
Yeah.
to Ronnie for his approval of me rewriting lots of the themes. It's the same arrangement, but it's kind of rewritten. And he gave me thumbs up and said, like, when you get this together and record it properly, I want to do the lead on that. And I was like, wow. So we then recorded everything, and my plan was to go to his studio and get him to play on this one song, which he wanted to do anyway. And then he basically exploded of creativity, and it's like when he did that one song, he was like, "Do you have more songs?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I have songs." I was like, "Let's give it a go." And he did one more, and then one more, and he's like, "I want to play on all these songs." Okay, it's amazing. So I basically had to book like a week later or something. He had some time off from whatever he was doing, and we could go into the whole album song by song and make him you know, he was basically listening to the song and playing for the first time, and lots of things which is on there is his first takes, but there's like several takes, but his initial idea is pretty much what's on every song. He's he's a kind of musician extreme metal players rarely get to work with, because he's from a total different planet, and musically I didn't know that it would fit this well until we were
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
there, you know? So now he's really into getting on stage with us and do live shows and everything. So we'll see what happens in the future, you know. It's exciting times for Cadaver for sure.
That's just wild, man. One question I want to add to that. Did you know him before you sent him the demo?
Yeah, I knew him not really, like not deeply, but I knew him from meeting him several times. I actually have been working 1 year before, no, 2 years before. In 2019, I was working with Tony Harnell from TNT, the singer.
Yeah, right.
We did some shows together in Norway when he was inducted in the Norwegian Rock Hall of Fame. I booked and arranged a tour with him, 4 shows with me playing bass and a guitar player, just like a sit down version of everything. So I had been in that circle a little bit, so I knew
Yeah,
them, but I hadn't been working with Ronnie before this.
yeah, right. Wow. How's your health going? How are you these days?
Me? No, I'm perfect. I'm good. I have been cancer free for 3 years, and
Good.
I've basically turned myself into more and more creative recording wise. I have this studio which I renovated during the pandemic, and I've been working with several different kinds of musicians, other bands coming in to record stuff. So I'm uh, ever since everything turned differently. First, with my illness and pandemic, I just realized that I want to spend more time recording and producing, and I basically taught myself many new things and got my new setup here. So I've become more and more studio rat than live musician. But I played some shows too. I love playing live, but uh, I would really like to just hang out and create things in the studio as well.
Yeah, well done. A lot of us had a lot more time to think about other things during the pandemic, and it's amazing how many people took up took up guitar, for instance. Oh, I've got all this time at home. I'll learn guitar. I've always wanted to do that, and that's what a lot of people have done.
Yeah, so now you have like 10,000 singer-songwriters in Australia or something.
There's a lot of people that think they are anyway.
Yeah, yeah. No, I actually found some new hobbies during the pandemic too. Being a musician, that's a given, you know, you play every day basically. But during the downtime, I learned myself a lot about uh, basically mushrooms, but all kinds of mushrooms that are in the Norwegian forest. So I took this online course about different kinds of mushrooms. So I went out and I think in 2020 I picked 60 different types and
Yeah, right.
figured out called and what you can eat and what's not edible and all kinds of things. So right now actually already we have camping in the forest. So I know all these places where to go to pick mushrooms. So that's my hobby during the pandemic.
Sounds
Go to
sounds dodgy, doesn't it? I've become an expert on mushrooms.
No, it's you know it relates with the whole uh psychedelic revolution, which we're also a part of now. So that goes along with that, you know.
Yeah. In all your time in music, what's the funniest thing that's happened? Now, it could be in the studio, could be on tour, could be in the bus, in an airport. What's the funniest memory that comes to you from all your time?
Uh, that's uh that's totally insane question because I've seen and done so many different things. But
What's the first one that comes to your mind?
well, the the things I've seen which nobody else have seen, which is kind of the you know I've seen Tom G Warrior vacuum clean. You know, it's not really a weird thing, but it's like when I was at the Celtic Frost audition and he was taking out the vacuum and he was like cleaning the floors in front of the drums. So I was like, this is something nobody ever will see,
Yeah,
you know, other
yeah,
than me. Tom G Warrior vacuum cleaning. That was
yeah,
the, but I mean, it's just weird things like that, you know, just like um, another thing was during this is a long time ago, but uh, Satyr from Satyricon knows the guys in Metallica really well. So whenever they are in Norway, they try to hang out. And I was invited to this strange dinner in the middle of the night. I was sitting next to James Hetfield for like 4 hours talking about music. That was really special. And
yeah,
then
right.
so mesmerized by the fact that I was sitting there talking to James Hetfield and this guy next to me on the left, he was leaning in on the conversation. I didn't really realize who that was until I was like listening to what they were talking about. And then I was like, fuck, that's Ray Davies from the Kings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he was like on my left and Hetfield on my right, and I was talking to James all the time because he was talking to Lars or Rick or whatever. But I was like, "Wow, this is insane!" You know, I realized that
Yeah,
this is that everybody else was fans of, you know. So weird things like that that come to mind.
yeah, right. That's wild. That's wild. We're just about out of time, man.
Yeah,
Could I get you to do one thing for us?
sure.
Give us the horns up in the camera.
Yeah,
Excellent. Thanks for having a chat to us. Best of luck with the new album, The Age of the Offended.
thank you.
Best of luck with that. hope you can get out on the road sometime. I don't know what the world is like over there at the moment for getting out on the road, but best of luck with it.
Yeah, I mean, in Europe, it's kind of all the festivals are back, but the
Mm,
tours are kind of up and down. But going all the way to Australia would be nice again, but I don't know when that's going to happen. But
mm,
we'll see what's happening in the world. You never know. Actually, right now there's this extreme heat wave in the south of Europe and stuff like this. So it's all the time kind of a new world out there. So we'll see what happens.
mm. Well, best of luck with it all. Thanks for having a chat to us. You stay healthy, you stay good, and hopefully we'll see you out here again sometime soon.
Thank you very much. And to the fans in Australia, I hope that you will enjoy the new album, The Age of the Offended. Thank you.
Thanks for talking to me, mate. You have a good one.
Thank you. Bye bye.